Yo, what's up guys, you're back with your man Tech Nick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today, it's about the latest tech once again in the gaming smartphone revolution, since we have another gaming phone here, the Xiaomi Black Shark 2 Pro. Now the Black Shark 2 just came out 5 months ago, the original version, so don't expect too many upgrades here. Though you are getting a lot more phone for a lot less money, and speaking about money, this goes for around 3,000 Chinese RMB, which is around 30,000 Indian rupees and 430 US dollars. Now that is the starting version, which comes with a whopping 12 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, which is actually 200 RMB cheaper than the starting price of the original Black Shark 2. You're looking at some serious great value for money. And speaking about what is the same here, guys, we have the same 4000 milliampere battery in here with 27 watt wired fast charging, which actually comes paired with that wattage block in the box too, which is really great to see. Now we also have the 6.39 inch Full HD AMOLED display panel, and yes, it is exactly the same panel that is on the Xiaomi Black Shark 2. Actually, this entire phone looks pretty similar. We have the same size build, the same dimensions across the board, along with the same net weight of 205 grams. Speaking about the specs that are still the same, we have the same 48 megapixel IMX586 sensor, which is a great sensor, no need to replace that. And then we have a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. So there's only 2 cameras here. I would have preferred that to be ultra wide, but nevertheless, it is telephoto and it is great. We'll get to that in the unboxing. But what is different here is we have a Snapdragon 855 Plus chipset, which is supposedly giving us 4% increase in the CPU department and 15% increase in the GPU department. So this chip is made for gaming phones, and it debuted with the Asus ROG Phone 2, which I unboxed a couple days ago. Make sure you guys check that out after this video. And I'll be comparing these two beasts along with the Nubia Red Magic 3 with the regular Snapdragon 855 processing chip in it to see which of the gaming phones you guys should go for. But as of right now, we have a slight design tweak with the Black Shark 2 Pro, and we also have a 240 Hz sampling rate. This is still limited to just 60 Hz refresh rates, so the FPS that you see when playing games is not going to be higher than 60 FPS, but you will see an increase in touch response. And talking about touch response, we do have 34.7 millisecond touch response latency delay in the Black Shark 2 Pro here. And Asus said that the ROG Phone 2 has the fastest touch rate over there with 49 milliseconds, but this is even faster at that, though it will not seem much faster because the Asus ROG Phone has 120 Hz refresh rate panel, and this just comes with a 60 Hz refresh rate panel. But let's get all those specs out the way. Let's see what this baby looks like under the hood. Guys, this is Tech Nick, and without further ado, let's go! The first thing that we have in the box here is a couple of Black Shark stickers. That's pretty cool, I guess. And then we have this flimsy, seriously old school feeling case. Guys, I don't even think I'm gonna use this in day one material. This looks ugly. I can't explain how this looks. It's just awkward. And why not a hard case or something like the ROG Phone? Anyway, I don't want to compare it too much about the ROG Phone because this is its own phone in its own right, but I'll slap the case on for you later anyways to let you guys know what it looks like on the device. This is probably the neatest little cable box I've ever seen, and it actually says cable on it. So let's take this out, and you can see that we have a USB Type A to Type C port over here. Nothing to write home about, nothing new, nothing fancy, but at least they do include it in the box, and it's black. It looks pretty cool if you ask me. Now we're going to go ahead and have a look at this charging block over here, and this is the same block that you get with the Xiaomi Mi 9, as well as the same block that you see with the original Black Shark 2, and that is 27 watt fast wired charging. As you guys can see here, 20 volts times 1.35 amps gives you 27 watt fast wired charging. There is no wireless charging over here, unfortunately, but at least we have a really fast wired charging. That is always good to see, and especially with this nice and hefty 4000 milliampere battery that we have in the Black Shark 2 Pro over here, we're going to want something quick to charge it up over there. One more thing I found in here, guys, is that even though this is a gaming phone, unfortunately there is no headphone jack, but at least they do go ahead and give you a dongle, unlike OnePlus are doing these days. So here is the Black Shark 2 Pro, and it looks very different if you ask me. As opposed to the original one, it's not too different. The original one just had a bigger aluminum sensor piece over here. It was a little bit wider. This has a little bit more glass, and classiness, I guess, if you would add. It is a lot more glossy too. You guys can see that it's quite glossy there. Now we do have LEDs at the back over here, and we're going to get into the detail of the build in a second, but let's go ahead and slap this cover on real quick just to see if it does this phone any justice. It does have like a little chrome mist to it. I guess it doesn't look terrible, but if you ask me, it really makes the phone look cheap, so I'm definitely not going to be using this, not even on day one use, guys. I'll be buying an external case for sure. Before we jump into the build of what is just the Black Shark 2 Pro here, I just want to go and grab the Nubia Red Magic 3 and put it on the left, and I'm going to grab the Asus ROG Phone 2 and put it on the right of it, just to show you guys what it looks like as opposed to other gaming phones out there. Now it is definitely smaller, so it should be easier to carry around. It is the lighter of the three as well, but when you're speaking of design, I do think that it doesn't necessarily have the best looking design. It is definitely a wild card in the gaming race. I think it suits gamers very well, and I do think that the Shark logo looks really cool on the phone, and I really do like this color. But other than that, the design of the Asus ROG Phone 2 definitely outshines the Black Shark 2 Pro, and the Nubia just looks a little bit plain if you ask me, as opposed to the crazy Black Shark 2 Pro's design. Like I said before, guys, this is the silver edition, and you can clearly see why it is labeled silver. I have this glass over here. I'm not sure if it is protected. I'm not sure if it can shatter. It feels pretty solid and it feels pretty sturdy. I really like the look of the smaller bar as opposed to the previous Black Shark 2's bigger and thicker bar, but I'm not too sure if I'm the biggest fan of this blue glow on the sides here, because bear in mind that the Shark logo is LED, and there is an LED strip here and an LED strip over here, so if you choose a different color other than blue, it's gonna look a little bit different. And there we go. You see they've put the color in blue. I have booted the phone up, and you guys can see the LEDs there. They look really awesome if you ask me, but they are blue because of this whole blue aesthetic going here. So if I were to say choose red, it wouldn't really match this baby blue color that you have going on here. Nevertheless, let's take a look at the rest of the phone here, and talking about the cameras while we're seeing the back over here, we do have a dual LED tone flash at the bottom here, and that is underneath the two monster sensors here. Talking about monster sensors because we do have a Sony IMX586 48 megapixel sensor here, which is pretty much the best 48 megapixel sensor you can get on a smartphone. It's the sensor that you're seeing on all budget friendly phones these days. It takes superb pictures at a very good price range point there. This can also record 4K at 60 frames per second, and Black Shark have done something incredible and done 720p at 1920 FPS as seen on the Nubia Red Magic 3. But I hope that it is better than the Red Magic 3's 1920 slow motion, because that was just utter garbage. But I'm pretty sure Xiaomi have tweaked it. They usually do pretty good things when it comes to optimizations. Alongside that, we have a 12 megapixel telephoto lens for those zoomed in 2x shots over there, only 2x telephoto. I would have preferred this to be an ultra wide lens as seen on the ROG phone and many other phones there, but nevertheless, something like the Nubia Red Magic 3 only has one lens, so I guess we can't really complain in that department. It is a really good price for the phone, and at least we have 2x optical zoom support there too. Now, taking a look around the sides of the phone over here, we do have an LED strip on the right hand side of the device and on the left hand side of the device as well. So we have one LED, two LED, three LED, four LED, 5 LED parts. Your phone is gonna look like a lighthouse. Nevertheless, guys, looking at the rest of the phone here, we have the power button over here, and then we have what is for game space over here, a little flick switch. I really hope that you can actually change the mute on and off like you can see on an iPhone over here, or like the OnePlus does do, because for some of us, we don't necessarily always need gaming every second of every day. But if you are buying this phone, you're probably buying it for gaming, so you'll probably use the game space quite a lot. Now, taking a long look at the top of the device over here, it is nice and clean. You can't even see an antenna line over there. And then looking along the left hand side of the phone, you guys can see that we have the volume rock over here. It's not, though it's nice and clicky, it is not split. I do prefer a split one, and nothing is textured in the button department here. Then at the bottom of the phone, we do have the USB Type-C port. Guys, this is only USB 2.0 speed, so don't expect the fastest transfer speeds between your PC and the device, though it is cooped with UFS 3.0 storage, so you are said to get seriously fast OTG speeds as well as really fast transfer speeds on the device itself. Now, we do have a dual SIM tray over here, and I just want to go ahead and confirm that there is no support for micro SD, because I'm pretty sure that there is not. But nevertheless, we'll go ahead and have a look, and there is no support for micro SD over here. You're limited to 128 or 256 gigs of storage, depending on the version that you go for, but there is dual card support over here, which is always good to see. This metal aluminum frame on the sides really feels awesome in the hand. I must say it feels feels a lot lighter and a lot less top heavy. It's more user friendly than what I would say is the Asus ROG Phone 2. This thing feels like a tank when you're holding it next to it. Even the size of it is just insane. So nevertheless, on the Xiaomi Black Shark 2, we're gonna go ahead and run through the setup process over here, guys, and I will see you on the other side. There we go, guys. We are in the phone. As you guys can see, in my personal opinion, this UI setup looks absolutely revolting. I'm sorry to say that, Xiaomi, but I do think that this whole gaming setup looks absolutely garbage. But nevertheless, you can throw launchers onto the Xiaomi devices, and I will definitely be throwing the likes of Nova Launcher on here to make it look as stock as possible, because though I am a centric gamer, I am not a madhouse gamer like most of you guys are out there. But if you like this look, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it has a very pleasing aesthetic to the whole device itself, with all of its colors and beauty in the gaming region. And talking about colors over here, I have noticed that there is a little bit of a glow trim around the edge of the front of the phone here, also in blue, matching the blue game space slider over here, as well as the blue coloring on the back here, and of course the blue logo, which can indeed be customized through lighting effects. Now, talking about the actual screen over here, we are treated to a 6.39 inch AMOLED display with a 240 Hz touch sampling rate. So that is not refresh rate, guys. That pretty much just means that the animations are going to go a lot quicker when you do open up apps, and as you guys can see, it is very smooth and snappy. But when we do go ahead and turn off those animations, that doesn't really matter, though it does make for a smoother experience on the device as a whole. I just want to check out this game space over here, guys. So we're going to flick that key over there. We're going to jump into game space, and you have toggled the Shark key to close all current applications and enter into Shark mode. So there we go, guys. The new game world shocking to open. Okay, no notifications, no incoming calls. I guess this is kind of to make you feel immersed with gaming as if there is no one else around you. We also have 2 stereo speakers in the front here, which is good to see, guys, and we have a whole bunch of different configurations for games. As it says here, we're going to enter in, it says there are no games detected over here. This is what Shark Space looks like, and then you can of course get the game pads from Xiaomi themselves to clip on either side of the phone for more of a gaming experience there. So I have fiddled around with the light settings over here, and there's something called light show, so you get like a fireworks show on the side booming through here, which looks pretty cool. I've also gone ahead and changed the rainbow effect on the back over here, and if you do go ahead and change the Shark logo over here, guys, you will be changing the same color to these 2 little LEDs here. You cannot change them individually, so no crazy fireworks there, but you can change these to be a little bit differently colored to what is set in the middle over there. Nevertheless, it looks pretty cool. There are a lot of lights on this phone. I've never seen so many lights on a phone. This is the wow factor gaming phone, guys, and Xiaomi are not afraid to share that with the world. So I have looked thoroughly throughout the settings menu, and there is no support for Dolby Atmos over here. Xiaomi are not paired with Dolby in any way, but we do have a front firing speaker over here at the top of the phone, as well as a front firing speaker at the bottom of the phone too. And at the top over here, very hidden, we have a 20 megapixel selfie snapper, which should do pretty decently. That will bring you guys a proper sound and camera comparison, comparing it to other gaming centric phones out there. I've also gone ahead and set up the fingerprint sensor over here, so it is actually an optical one, not an ultrasonic one like seen on the Samsung devices. And to go ahead and use it, you just have to tap on the sensor right at the bottom of the screen over there. And we even have a little gaming animation for going into the Black Shark 2 Pro. I think it looks pretty cool actually, and it actually works really well. The sensor seems to be working a lot better than my first testings with the Xiaomi Mi 9, and more similar to the K20 Pro, and I really have been enjoying the optical scanner on that phone. I've also set up Face ID over here, so we're going to go ahead and check that out real quick, guys. Okay, as you guys can see, it is not the fastest as opposed to the other Xiaomi phones that I have seen around, though it is still pretty quick, guys. You do see a little bit of that lock screen before going in. I have reset it up because I thought that maybe I did the initial setup wrong, but nevertheless, it is not the fastest I've seen, but it still does the job pretty darn good. One more thing I want to check out before we wrap this video up is taking some snaps of my little friend Groot over here with the 48 megapixel snapper. So we're going to go ahead and quickly get a single standard snap, and I'll pop these up on the screen in just a second there. We're also going to do an optical zoom shot, though this will be better for outdoor scenarios when you're further away from your subject, but nevertheless, let's give it a go and see what the detail looks like. And then we're also going to go ahead and quickly test out portrait mode over here. So we're going to go to portrait, going to quickly pop Groot over there for portrait mode, and I'm going to get a snap of him in the background with my PC over there. We do have the standard photo, which looks pretty great if you ask me, pretty similar to the rest of the Xiaomi devices with this same IMX586 sensor on. And then we have the 2x optical zoom, also very similar to those devices as well. It looks nice and clean and very detailed. And then we have the depth effect shot over here, and though I don't think it is the best that I have seen, it is quite bright and there is a lot of light noise there, but it still doesn't rough the edges too much, and you can definitely see that the subject is very well separated from the background. Now, as I said earlier in this video, guys, we do have 4K at 60 FPS available on the Xiaomi Black Shark 2 Pro because of that wonderful IMX586 sensor paired with the Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip. And also talking about video over here, I did mention that there is slow motion 1920, and there it is, 1920 FPS slow motion. And just to let you guys know, the quality of that is limited to 720p over there. I'll definitely be doing some situations with that slow motion, as I think it should look absolutely epic outdoors doing some crazy stunts. I just want to have a look if the 480 FPS mode, no, that is also limited to 720p. So the only thing that we're going to get in full HD is probably going to be 120 and 240 FPS. Yes, you can go ahead and up that to 1080p. My overall thoughts of this phone is that it is a great phone for the price. I wish it looked a little bit more sleek and a little bit more classy, but nevertheless, it is still a gaming phone. And one more thing that I did want to mention before I let you guys go is that you do have touch sensitive zones, so pretty much like 3D touch on an iPhone on each the left and the right side of the screen, just to push harder for different buttons. Instead of using 2 or 3 fingers, you can use one and push at different pressures to use those different options on the phone when playing games. So we do not have triggers as seen on the Nubia and as seen on the Asus ROG Phone 2 over there. As you guys can see, there are no top triggers over there, so that is maybe a slight downside for many of you guys, but nevertheless, it's not too much of a big deal for me since you can get those controllers for the side of the phone too. This is one awesome gaming phone, and I cannot wait to start testing it out. So there you guys have it, the Xiaomi Black Shark 2 Pro. Now, in my opinion, this is indeed a bit of a mixed bag since we have the best of the best Snapdragon 855 Plus processing chip in it, and it is the second phone in the world to have that, second to the Asus ROG Phone 2, which just released 2 days back. Now, other than that, this phone comes with UFS 3.0 storage as opposed to its predecessor. It has the same screen size as that phone as well, and it also comes with a 240 Hz sampling rate in it. That does not mean that it has a 240 Hz panel. Don't be mistaken, this is touch sampling rate, so it makes animations and everything else on the phone seem smoother. But visually seeing, when you are playing games, you are going to be capped at 60 Hz, which means your games won't go higher than 60 frames per second, and there are other phones out there at the same price point which can give you 120 Hz refresh rate, upping your games to 120 FPS if your games do support that feature. Now, bear in mind that this phone is still serious value for money, guys. We have a 4000 mAh battery in here, which has not changed from the previous one, as well as 27 watt wired charging. Now, there is no wireless charging over here, and there's no reverse wireless charging either. Now, talking about gaming over here, we do not have triggers at the top like many other gaming phones do have. Instead, we have pressure sensitive zones on each side of the device so that you can push them harder. Instead of using 1 or 2 or 3 fingers or 1 or 2 or 3 buttons, you use that one space and you push down harder or softer based on what you want to do inside of the game. And we also have those stereo speakers in the front there, though there is no Dolby Atmos paired or DTS:X technology in them. Now, other than that, guys, we do have this wonderful design over here. I guess it's kind of a hit or miss for you, so either you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Nevertheless, my only complaint about it really is that you can change the LEDs to whatever color that you want, though you will always be stuck with this blue glow on the phone. So if you do decide to change the LEDs to red, it is not going to look the best. Nevertheless, it does come with a cover if you want to hide that up a little bit, but it is not the best cover that I have seen on a smartphone. Otherwise, guys, the cameras are pretty capable as well with that 48 megapixel IMX586 sensor, which can shoot 4K video at 60 FPS, take gorgeous photos outdoors at 48 megapixels or indoors at 12 megapixel bind shots to give you that serious amount of detail too. We also have 720p 1920 FPS slow motion recording, which I'm really excited to test out. Otherwise guys, this phone at $430 US is really great in my opinion. It is great. It is not the best. It is a great phone. It shapes up to be one of the best performing phones I would say out there, and if the only thing that you are after is performance, raw performance, and the best possible gaming that you could get, then the Black Shark 2 Pro is for you guys. But if you want more of an all-round phone, I definitely think there are other phones out there that can give you pretty similar performance with a slightly better design. But if this design is for you guys, let me know in the comments below if I'm hating too much on this. But I still think it's a good phone, guys. I'm still going to give it a proper test among plenty other phones to see what it can do in the performance department, because that is why I got it, for the performance, and I cannot wait to see what the performance can do. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing of the Xiaomi Black Shark 2 Pro, and until next time, this is Technic.